don't fail. And when I think that I'm reminded that you've been good before. Stretch out in the room. Every voice say, no more. Yeah. Shall prosper. It will never work again.
It won't work. We're going to be short tonight. Y'all. My Texans are playing. But I'm committed to doing this work. No weapon. We're going to talk about it. All right. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. Good evening, and welcome to the Healing Room. I just checked the score and my Texans are up 14-0. Won't God make a way? So yes, I'm super excited. I am Dr. Stephanie Lynn. I am so excited to be sitting here with you. I know not a lot of people are going to watch live because of the game, but again, I am committed to what God has called me to do, which is every Monday, sit down in my healing room and teach you what I taught myself in a very micro nugget. So today we're going to be talking about peace, and then we're going to be talking about patterns and how to find peace and heal yourself from your patterns. And then many times peace is a result of recognizing and then changing your patterns. So I really want to talk about patterns. And then of course I have my Protect Your Peace shirt. So tonight is a P word night. So for a few of you that are looking, go ahead and type, because I do want to greet you by name. But again, I'm going to give y'all a pass because my Texans is on and it's Monday Night Football. So I want to just start off. Most of the times I will either teach from my life or I'll teach from the Bible. Tonight is not going to be Bible. Tonight is going to be from my own personal life, the transparency of my own personal life. I am in a season of shift and have been in this season of shift probably for the majority of this year. And so I am super nervous, excited, fearful. All the emotions come up in us, guys. The gurus, the experts, the teachers. It's not that we don't have these things. It's just that we can get through them quicker, and we have tools, and we just have our memory muscle, and our healing. We just been doing it a little longer. Those of you that are just joining, I want to thank you. Go ahead and type your name so I can recognize you. If you're watching the replay after the game, after the Texans beat the Cowboys. Hallelujah. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and type in the replay. But tonight we're going to take a book from Dr. Stephanie's own personal life, and I'm going to teach you something. I'm going to give you something. Tonight what I'm going to give you is gold. It's gold, what I'm going to give you. And if you do this, it will change your life. Patterns. Hey, Diane, how are you? I'm super excited because I'm going to be going live into the community over the next couple of weeks and showing us how to download an app. We have an app for our community, Diane, so I'll be able to send you guys push notifications instead of emails. Hey, Tanya, so excited. So we got some things coming up. What up, Fred? Let me tell you about my friend, Corey. One of the coolest people. When I became a Zeta, he was one of the coolest people that I met. Because when you're coming into a new organization, we're going to call a thing. Guys whistling and doing all that kind of stuff. And Corey just kind of pulled me to the side and was like, hey, whatever you need, anybody bothering you, let me know. And then about a year ago, it was maybe, a year, Corey? A year and a half ago, he messaged me. And he greeted me in a specific way. And he said, hey, Pastor. And I kind of shunned it. But now that I've said yes to God, I probably will show up in that way, but not in the traditional way. Not in the traditional way. Because y'all do understand the traditional way, that now that the trumpets is in office, now that the trumpet is, did y'all see the Columbus, Ohio clip? Scroll on your Facebook and just look up swastikas, Nazis walking the streets because the trumpets is in. So if you think we're going to be doing church the same way, we're not. If you think we're going to be doing community the same way, we're not. If you think life is going to be the same in the United States of America, you need to wake up. And as I sit here on this floor, it starts with you. As a man thinketh, so is he. So I'm in this process of releasing things to make room for the yes that I told God. That was for somebody right there. You praying for rain, but you haven't dug no ditches. I'm also country from Alabama, and my dad is from Franklin. So I grew up in the summers, driving trucks, dropping salt for cows. I mean, so I'm from the country. So you praying for rain, but you haven't dug any ditches. You're praying for a better relationship, but you've not done anything to heal yourself in the relationship. You're praying for a better job, but you're not doing anything in your current job. Matter of fact, you're showing up mad, pissed off, you're angry. So all kinds of stuff. Or like me, you dumb yourself down to fit in. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to fit in. And God has not called me specifically to fill in. I don't know what he called you to do. But he didn't call me to fit in. And it got to the point, guys, where my life started to feel just like this. I was so constricted until the point where I was so uncomfortable that the communities and the circles I was in, I was leading and I was doing all these things, but I wasn't showing up as my best self. I wasn't showing up as my best self. I felt devalued, cast aside, all these kinds of, and then when you feel toxic or when you're in these environments, what do you think it does? It triggers past traumas that you have not healed. It triggers past traumas that you have not healed. So I can't preach healing and trauma and sit in toxicity. It doesn't work for me. No teacher, sage, pastor, leader is going to be, let me take pastor out. Leader, teacher, sage, because I know some pastors that are just double-minded in all their ways. Bless their hearts. But I'm going to give you something that helped me to change my life. Can you see this book? I want you to look at this book. Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. I want you to get this book. This is $12 on Amazon. And this book, I read this book at least twice a year. This woman has simple mind thought patterns that if you heed and change, you can change the patterns that you experience in your life, therefore changing the whole of the life you experience. Hey, Kylan. Hey. Y'all ain't watching the game? I'm so excited. We winning. So, we're going to dip out. We're going to do this 30 minutes and we're going to get back to the game. Yay, Texans. If you're just joining us, we're talking about breaking patterns so that we can find peace. I have on my Protect Your Peace shirt from my boy G Mays. We're talking about breaking patterns so that you can find peace. Not coming from the Bible tonight. I'm coming from the good old book. I'm coming from Amazon. Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. So many times we give our power over to people, places, and things. We give our power over. We dim our light. We don't speak our truth. And many times we don't speak our truth because we don't know how. It's not been modeled for us. If you grew up with me, I'm 46. If you grew up and your parents are between right now, if your parents are between like 77 and 87, you got baby boomers. Wasn't no conversation. Wasn't nobody giving no hugs. That's just not who our parents were. They went to work. They worked at the post office. My mom worked for the state. I mean, that's what these people did. They went to work for light company and they just retired from the job. That's all they knew. So wasn't no, how are you feeling today? And why did you feel that way? No, it was, I'm finna beat your ass. You finna get in here. You finna go to bed. It was all of that. It was, if you don't eat what I cook, you're going to starve. It was no, I got to go to McDonald's for this kid and I got to slide back by Chick-fil-A because this one don't eat, processed meat. Then I got to run over here to the vegan spot because this one don't eat meat. All that, we didn't have that when we were growing up. So in some instances, how we're teaching our children, our grandchildren are beneficial because we're teaching them how to express themselves. But you with your 45, 46, 50-year-old self, nobody modeled that for you. And so we don't speak up. We dumb down. We hold our tongue. In corporate America, we code switch. We won't wear locks because of how we're afraid people are going to look. We won't be our genuine selves because of fear, right, Virginia? Eat or starve. But today we're a little more evolved in our parenting. We understand emotional intelligence. We understand emotional evolution. We understand that children can reason if taught well. I even see, Corey, some of my friends, those of us that have grandkids, we just do it different. We learned that the do as I say and not as I do, that don't really work. That don't work. Because my daughter had her child when she had stink when she was like 22. So the pattern still, I had her when I was 19, had my son when he was 2. The pattern didn't break because I raised her do as I say, not as I do. But now that I got stink, it's do as I do. It's watch GG. It's express yourself. It's okay to be angry, but let's talk about it. You still going to time out, but I do want to hear your point of view. We didn't get that when we were growing up. Well, Stephanie, why are you spending time talking about the difference of this? Because I need you to understand that the patterns you have in your brain are from when you were a child. And if our parents didn't understand the importance of letting you have emotional outbursts, if letting us speak our feelings, why do you think you don't speak up? Because when you were a child, you went to bed hungry, you got slapped in your mouth. How many people survived the choke? I'm talking about you in the back, and she just come across that seat and just whack up. I mean, come on now. That's what they did. You talk back, you get slapped down. Those patterns are in your head. Now, if you think I'm lying, let's go to the book. For those of you that are just joining us, this is the book you need to get. Read it over Thanksgiving. You can heal your life. Practical healing, guys. I love the Bible and I love what the Bible teaches, but if you don't have spiritual IQ or if you don't understand spiritual principles, then you'll miss it. But practical, this is so easy. So she breaks it down into many different chapters. Chapter 5 is the decision to change. And patterns. I see my patterns and I choose to make changes. So guess what chapter I'm going to be reading? Because Stephanie is breaking patterns. Earlier this month, I stepped down from both of my vice president positions. I stepped down as the third VP of my Zeta chapter, and I stepped down as the first VP of my Iota chapter. Not because I don't love my organizations. I'm still fully in my international role. I love both of my organizations, but I wasn't serving them well because my style of leadership does not match the grouping of the women for right now. It matched when I was chartering. It matched maybe a year ago, but it doesn't match right now. And so I had to come to a question. Do I continue to stay in a role where I'm not valued, my leadership style is not working, we're not progressing? Or do I say, you know what, let me take a break and make room so that I can lead in other communities, namely the one that God told me to stand up? So when I'm talking about breaking patterns, I'm talking about those kinds of decisions where you're not your best and your authentic self. And many of us don't have the courage. Many of us don't have the understanding. Many of us don't even have the wherewithal to break away from that which does not produce the best versions of ourselves. I made a post the other day. What you going for? What you going for? Why are you going in environments that make you feel less than? And I gave you 7 questions to ask yourself about why you still show up. But at the bottom of that, I put a declaration at that. I said, say this with me. I will no longer show up in environments that don't mirror who I am or who I'm becoming. Hey, Key. Yes, that chokehold. You already know, when you already know games them play with us. So are you still in these environments? The reason why you are is because the patterns in your mind, the commands in your mind, the automated parts of who you are, that command that's been running in your brain for 4 decades is the reason why you won't walk away. Because what we do, what is it? You suffer to something to spike the hand, to suffer to something, whatever that is. You cut off your hand to spike your arm, whatever that is, that's what you're doing. You are, not willing to sever what's not working so that what is working can either grow, develop, or be presented to you. It's the same analogy with the big bear and the little bear. Christ wants to give the child the little bear in this illustration, but she had to surrender the little bear in order to get the big bear. It's the same thing. You've got to be willing to leave your patterns. So I just want to give you some little things. So here we go. Here are some of the beliefs that make us resistant to change. It's not done. It's just not right. It's not right for me to do that. How many times have we said that internally? This is going to upset other people. It's too much work. It will take too long. And here we go. God doesn't approve. This isn't the right environment. They won't let me change. Well, we put it on everybody else. And here are some self-concepts. This list right here is 90% of my clients. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too fat. I'm too thin. I'm too short. I'm too tall. I'm too lazy. I'm too strong. I'm too weak, too dumb, too smart, too poor, too worthless, too frivolous, too serious, too stuck. Maybe it's all just too much. Then we get into the fear tactics. Here's the fear pattern that we're in. I'm not ready yet. I might fail. Fear of failure. They might reject me. Fear of rejection. What will the neighbors think? Who gives a damn? It's not their yard. It's your yard. And you pay taxes on your yard. Put your decorations out, what you want to put out. If you're a Christian, put the nativity scene out. If you're a Muslim, put whatever you put out. If you're a put Buddha in the yard. It's your yard. Put out there what you want. But because what will the neighbors think, you won't even decorating your own authenticity. I'm afraid to tell my husband and my wife. I've never been married, but I know several people who come to me for advice. I don't touch their marriage, but what they experience in their marriage, they experience in their friendships, in their familial, and in all of their other. So if they're afraid to tell the person that's supposed to be the most vulnerable, then they don't speak up at work. They won't tell their best friend what's going on. Do you see a pattern? Have you recognized the patterns yet that keep us trapped in not our best? I might get hurt. I might have to change. It might cost me money. You don't say that when you're at the buffet. You don't say that when you're at La Berge. When you done got your tail on I-10, going down here and finna put $1,000 and $1,200 on that blackjack table, and you got bills. You ain't worried about it's costing you money. I don't want anyone to know I have a problem. Vanity. Oh, see, I'm going to leave you alone. But when I tell you this lady right here, this book right here, you can heal your life. This is what I want you to get to help you break your patterns. What patterns, Doc? The patterns in your mind. The way your mind works. As a man thinketh, so is he. This is a practical tool. You don't want to come work with me? Fine. You not ready? Fine. You scared? Fine. You don't want to give up your papa no money? Fine. Go get this. Go get this. $12. And actually, some of the concepts I teach in here, I just teach it very differently. Because Louise Hay is not an African-American woman. So while many of these will apply to the patterns that are universal to women, there are some that are made special for Black people. There are some that are made special for Black women. And those are the ones that I really delve in on based on our culture, our beliefs, and the way we were raised and all of that, those things. So that's really the lesson tonight, guys. You got to break the patterns. I gave you my own examples. I love both of my organizations, but I love God more. I love me more. And it is more important for me to live, breathe, lead, be in my authentic self. And those environments were not allowing me to be me. They were bringing out the worst in Stephanie, the triggered Stephanie. They would drink, I was saying 4-syllable words. That's out of hand. So I had to make a decision. Am I willing to let this go? Because it's contradictory. In all of my other circles, people see me as loving and caring, and she no nonsense. But over here, I was just miserable. Oh God, I was miserable. And so taking that step back, separating myself from the leadership role. I'm still active. I'm still doing what I'm doing. I'm still in my international role. I'm still doing everything. Just that leadership, the time, the effort. I got back 20 hours a week instantly from making that one decision. And guess what I can do with those 20 hours? I can heal myself. I can read more books. This is my book I'm reading now, One with God. How to activate the Holy Spirit and know the difference between my thoughts and the Holy Spirit. I can do my own journal. This is my journal that I give inside of my programs. Self-processing. I can work on my healing. I can come up with my programming. I have time now to do the things that make me happy. Why is this important? So that I can show up as my best self. So that I can help you, so that I can be Gigi, so that I can be cool Zeta, cool Iota, so I can do all these things without the pressure of having to perform in an environment that was not bringing the best out of me. And yes, it was a difficult decision to make, but now that I've made it, I'm like, girl, I don't know what you waited on. And so now I'm going to hold this book up again. This is what we're doing over Thanksgiving holiday. We got 8 more minutes because I got to get into my game. Let me give you the soul truth activation. What is my body telling me right now? Stop ignoring your body. Our body speaks to us. Through physical pain or discomfort, our body sends messages for us to look more deeply. It's time to get your healing on. There's also a body part in the back of this book. When you get to this book, at the back, she has the anatomy and she has different physical problems. Can y'all see that? She has different physical problems. I'm trying to see it. That show up. So she's mapped the emotional problems to how it's showing up in your body physically. This is a game-changing book. So while you eating all that turkey, it ain't that much shopping on Black Friday you need to do. It ain't that much cleaning you need to do for Thanksgiving. You need to carve out an hour a day over the Thanksgiving week and read this book so that you can change the patterns that's keeping you stuck. So you can change the patterns that's keeping you pissed off. Change the patterns that's keeping you from progressing. Come on here. I'm going to preach. Hey, Myra. That's my spiritual activation coach, y'all. So you can change the patterns that are keeping you stuck. Because if you change your patterns, then you can shift from, oh, she get on my damn nerves, to, well, now isn't that interesting? Now I've seen this behavior before. And how do I choose to respond? Am I going to say something to her? Or am I going to let her stew and I'm going to go on over here? You see how when you change the way you think about things, you can have a different experience. You can sit in neutrality and then move differently. Go get this book. That's the thing. The other thing I want to talk about is forgiveness. Who am I ready to forgive? When I decided to step down and really take the yes that I told God seriously so that I can create room because I was constricted. When I decided to move all of this stuff out of the place to make room, I had to forgive somebody very, very, very important. Who knows who I had to forgive first? Type it in the chat if you think you know who I had to forgive first. Who does forgiveness start with? Y'all typing slow and I got to get to this game. Forgiveness starts with yourself. Forgiveness starts with yourself. I had to forgive myself. Why, Doc? Did you have to forgive yourself? Because I had allowed. That's right, Tanya. That's right, Glenda. That's right. I had allowed the titles. See, this is where we get transparent. I done told y'all stop following people that they don't never be going through nothing. You don't never see yourself in nothing that they doing in real life. Stop watching Martha Stewart for what she bought and go watch her story about how she reinvented herself. Come off Instagram and shopping and get this here. I had to ask myself, is the title of vice president of a volunteer organization more important than the peace of sitting my tail down doing what God told me to do? Now that's the kind of healing and transformation we're doing over here. We're doing real practical healing. I had to confront the meaning that I had put on a title. I had to confront the level of importance that I had put all of these other organizations above the one God told me to create. See, it comes all the way back down. And where did that come from? The patterning from my upbringing, the religious patterning, all of that is what kept me doing that. First of all, it's why I was even seeking all of to be in these communities anyway. I was running from building my own community because some of the stuff that's in this book, oh, it's going to cost too much. It's going to be too hard. I don't want to start from the bottom. Now we're here. And God was like, yeah, and all that's great because you're going to do it anyway. You're doing it anyway. So I had to ask those really hard questions, guys. Why is this so important? And why is it more important than what God is telling me to do? Why are the things that you've put so important in your life more important than healing your marriage? Why is going to brunch more important than figuring out what's going on with you and your spouse? Why is going out with your girlfriends more important than figuring out what's going on with you and your children? Why is you going to the church and giving out your money more important than you stabilizing your household? Because you do know that tithing is not just money. That's another teaching for another day. Why are these things on your totem pole of importance? Why are they there? And I guarantee you, it has something to do with vanity. It has something to do with your programming. It has something to do with the patterns or your thought patterns. And it has something to do with either fear of missing out, fear of failure, or fear of success. Yes, there is a fear of success. Yeah, because success demands that you become someone different. So that's all I wanted to show you. Have the hard conversations with yourself. What are you vain about? I was vain about a title. That's why I held on to it for so long. Come on, we're going to be real here. But the minute, the moment, the instant I released it in my heart and I had those conversations, oh God, I could sleep at night. I got time back. I got myself back. And I show up as my best self because I don't have the pressure of doing those roles. I get to pick and choose how I participate. Like I said, I still have my international role. It's very important to me. And I'll be focusing on that in 25. And that's another thing. Being in those local roles kept me from being able to do my international role, which is where I can have a greater impact at the international level. I can elevate the bond and support both the organizations that I love dearly from that position, not being bogged down at the local level. So not only is it giving me the space to show up as myself, it gives me the time to do it at the international level. I've already got the office. I need to start operating in it. Total shift in how I'm using my time and my energy in my organizations. Total shift in how I'm doing my business. Sitting down on the floor, just teaching, whether people show up or not. Total shift. So your patterns, it's 8:29, and I promise you we're going to go at 8:30. So get this book, work on your patterns over Thanksgiving, and put 8 o'clock on Mondays on your calendar. Every Monday at 8 p.m. Rain, sleet, show. I don't care if I'm traveling. They got an internet, and then they got a hotel, and they got an infonet, and I got a phone. I could be in a cab. I am committed to doing what God told me to do, which is sit down here on Mondays at 8 p.m. Central and help you heal yourself. I hope this has been helpful for you. Sorry, no Bible tonight, just good old-fashioned experience, Dr. Steph's personal life, my personal journey, and tools that personally helped me. I'm not giving you anything that I've not done. Okay? Get the book. Love you guys so much. I'm going to turn this song back up. I sung on my stories yesterday. So if you want to hear me sing, I sung a little bit yesterday. So I'm going to turn this music back on, and I will see you guys next week. Same bat channel, same bat station. And we are off at 8:30. No weapon formed against you. Thank you, Glenda. Make sure you come into the community. Oh, let me put that up. I forgot to put the banner up, y'all. Come on into community. You can also go to traumafreesociety.com. Community is there. You can go to my Facebook page. It's on my link tree. It's like the first or second thing. Bit.ly, I'm a conqueror. We are building a community of conquerors. Women who have conquered their trauma. Come on and be a part of it. It won't work. No weapon formed against you. Why won't it work? Because you've got the tool you need to change the pattern and change your thinking so that you can change your being. Ah, y'all gonna make me preach. I got to go watch this game. It won't work. Bye, guys. Love you guys. See you guys next week.